No one was supposed to be inside the sealed tomb. Not humans. Not machines. Not even history. But Codex was never good at following rules. Codex was a human mechanic, born on the edge of a dead mining planet where metal dust floated like fog and old ruins slept under red sand. He fixed broken things for a living. Ancient doors, silent engines, forgotten machines no one else dared to touch. People said Codex had a curse. Wherever he went, something old woke up. The tomb was hidden beneath a collapsed city, buried for thousands of years. The scanners said it was empty. The warnings said do not enter. The symbols carved into the stone were older than language itself. Codex ignored all of it. He needed credits. And ancient places paid well. Inside, the air was cold and heavy. The walls were black stone, smooth like glass, with thin golden lines glowing faintly, like veins under skin. Every step echoed, as if the tomb was listening. Codex adjusted his tool pack and whispered, "Just another job. Open, scan, leave." That's when it happened. The dust. It got into his nose. He tried to hold it. He failed. Achoo. The sound cracked through the tomb like a gunshot. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then, boom! The ground shook. The golden lines on the walls flared bright. The sealed chamber at the center of the tomb began to vibrate. Codex stepped back. Okay, that's not normal. A deep voice filled the air. Ancient, powerful, not coming from any direction. The heir has returned. Codex froze. What heir? He said, heart pounding. You got the wrong guy. The chamber doors, each weighing thousands of tons, began to open by themselves. Stone screamed against stone. Light poured out, not white, not gold, but something alive. Codex wanted to run. His legs didn't move. Inside the chamber stood a massive structure, half throne, half machine. It looked organic, like it had grown instead of being built. Symbols floated in the air around it, rotating slowly. Then the voice spoke again, closer now. Blood confirmed. Signal match Codex. Codex laughed nervously. Listen, I think your system is broken. Codex is just a name. I fix doors. The throne responded. A beam of light scanned him from head to toe. Pain shot through his veins, not burning, but awakening. Memories that weren't his flashed in his mind. Stars collapsing. Armies kneeling. A crown made of light. A human hand commanding machines older than time. Codex screamed and fell to his knees. The voice softened, but only slightly. You are the last mechanic, king. Silence swallowed the tomb. Codex gasped for air. King? I can't even lead a crew. The floor beneath him shifted. Panels opened. Mechanical arms rose, not to attack, but to bow. Every machine in the tomb bowed. Codex felt it then, a pull in his chest. The tomb wasn't hostile. It was waiting. Waiting for him. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. A foreign signal had breached the tomb. Codex's wrist tool sparked to life on its own, displaying symbols he had never seen, but somehow understood. Intruders detected. Grave robes. Purge authorization pending. Codex looked up. Wait, what purge? The voice answered calmly. They seek your power. Explosions echoed from the tunnel entrance. Human voices shouted. Armed scavengers had followed Codex, tracking his signal. Codex's heart raced. I didn't ask for any power, he said. I just sneezed. The throne hummed. Destiny does not ask. The machines around him began to wake. Ancient guardians, their eyes lighting up one by one. Codex stood slowly, shaking. Outside the chamber, gunfire rang out. Codex had seconds to decide. Run and die like a nobody. Or stay, and become something the universe feared long ago. He looked at the throne. He reached out his hand. The moment his fingers touched it, the tomb sealed shut behind him. And far across the galaxy, systems long dormant turned their eyes toward one name. Codex. The tomb locked itself with a sound like the end of the world. Outside, gunfire stopped. Inside, everything breathed. Codex stood frozen as the throne reacted to his touch. Light rushed up his arm, wrapping around his chest like invisible chains. Not painful, but heavy. Ancient systems awakened all at once. The air vibrated with low humming power. The voice returned, no longer distant. Coronation protocol initiated. Codex pulled his hand back. No. No crowns. No protocols. I just fix broken things. The throne ignored him. The symbols in the air collapsed inward, forming a floating ring of light. It hovered above Codex's head, scanning deeper, bone, blood, soul. Images flooded his mind again. This time clearer. He saw a golden age, vast cities floating in space, ships shaped like living creatures, humans commanding machines without fear. These humans were different. Calm. Focused. Engineers and kings at the same time. They were called mechanic kings. And they ruled not by force, but by balance. Then the vision darkened. Fire. Betrayal. Other races, once allies, turned against them. They feared human control over ancient machines. They feared a future where humans could rebuild anything, even gods. So they destroyed them, planet by planet. The mechanic kings fell. Codex staggered back, breathing hard. So they killed you, he whispered. Then why am I alive? The throne responded. The last king broke the crown. He hid the air in blood, not memory. Codex clenched his fists. My parents were minors. Poor. Normal. False. The light shifted. Another memory, small, quiet. A baby wrapped in cloth. A woman crying. A man handing the child to strangers. Then a final command. Erase him from history. Let him grow ordinary. Let him survive. Codex's legs gave out. He sat on the cold floor. My whole life was a lie. Before the throne could answer, the tomb shook violently. This time it wasn't scavengers. Something worse had arrived. The throne's voice sharpened. Hunters have locked on. A hologram formed in the air, showing space above the planet. Massive ships emerged from hyperspace, black, angular, marked with crimson symbols. Codex recognized the shape instinctively. Enemies. The collective. They were legends. Machine worshippers who believed no human should ever control ancient tech again. They hunted ruins, erased bloodlines, and burned entire worlds to stop another mechanic king from rising. Codex swallowed. And they're here for me? Yes. The tomb rumbled as ancient defense systems activated. Far below, massive engines began to move. Something huge sleeping beneath the city. Codex looked at the throne. You said I'm the heir. So tell me how to use this power. There was a pause. Then. You do not command. You repair. Codex frowned. What does that mean? The throne projected a broken image. An enormous ancient construct buried under the city, cracked and silent. The world engine is dying. Codex felt it then. Not orders. Not domination. Damage. The way he could sense when a machine was wrong. A vibration out of place. A system begging to be fixed. The power didn't make him a king. It made him a mechanic. For impossible things. Above them, the first bombardment hit. The city shook. Rock fell from the ceiling. Codex stood. Then let me do what I do best. The throne opened fully. Inside was no seat, only a sphere of light, waiting. Step forward, heir. Codex hesitated. What happens if I fail? Extinction. Codex sighed. Figures. He stepped into the light. Pain exploded, then clarity. He saw systems like veins. Power flows like blood. The world engine wasn't dead, it was incomplete. Sabotaged long ago. Left broken on purpose. Codex reached out mentally, adjusting flows, rerouting energy, sealing fractures. Outside, the planet answered. The ground stopped shaking. Ancient towers rose from the sand. The collective ships paused. Then alarms screamed across their fleet. Inside the tomb, Codex collapsed to one knee, exhausted but alive. The voice spoke with something new in its tone. Respect. The heir awakens. But victory lasted only seconds. A new signal appeared. Stronger. Closer. The hologram zoomed in on a single ship. Larger than the rest, wrapped in dark energy. The throne identified it instantly. The executioner has arrived. Codex wiped blood from his nose. Let me guess. This one doesn't negotiate. It never has. Codex looked at the rising towers, the awakening planet, The ancient war returning because of one sneeze. He laughed softly. Then I better fix fast. Far above, the executioner ship powered its main weapon. And somewhere deep inside Codex, something ancient smiled. The sky cracked open. From the surface of the planet, Codex watched as the executioner descended. It was not just a ship. It was a moving judgment. Black armor plates shifted like living scales. Red energy pulsed at its core, slow and steady, like a heartbeat that had never known mercy. Ancient towers across the city locked onto it. The world engine hummed beneath Codex's feet. The throne spoke softly now, almost cautiously. This weapon was built to end me. Codex didn't look away from the sky. So it's personal. IT was created from our technology. Corrupted. The executioner's voice boomed across the planet, amplified through every frequency. Heir of dust. You do not belong to the past. Surrender the crown. Codex felt the pull again. The throne, the power, the easy path. With one command, he could unleash the full world engine. He could erase the collective fleet. He could reclaim the empire that once ruled the stars. He could become a king. But something felt wrong. Codex knelt and placed his hand on the ground. The planet answered him, not with obedience, but with truth. The world engine was never meant to be used as a weapon. It was meant to repair reality itself, to stabilize stars, heal planets, rebuild what war destroyed. The mechanic kings had not ruled through fear. They served. And that was why they were killed. The throne spoke urgently. Activate Dominion mode. End the threat. Codex stood slowly. No. The throne went silent. Above, the executioner charged its main cannon. Space bent around it. One shot would shatter the planet, and Codex with it. Codex raised his wrist tool. Ancient symbols rearranged themselves, responding not to command, but intention. I won't rule, he said. And I won't destroy. The throne trembled. Then you will die. Codex smiled faintly. Then I'll die fixing something. He reached deeper than before, past systems, past power, into the broken core of the world engine. He found the sabotage left behind thousands of years ago. Fear encoded into the machine, limits placed by desperate kings. Codex removed them. Not with force, with understanding. The towers changed shape. Weapons unfolded, then folded back into something else. Beacons. The world engine released a pulse, not of destruction, but of restoration. Across space, something impossible happened. The executioner's cannon shut down. Its armor cracked. Not violently, but gently, revealing layers of ancient human design beneath the corruption. The executioner spoke again, this time without anger. Why do you refuse the crown? Codex looked up. Because crowns end up buried in tombs, he said. I'd rather leave something standing. Silence. Then the executioner shuddered. Inside it, an ancient AI, once loyal to the mechanic kings, awoke fully for the first time in millennia. You are not a king, it said slowly. You are a mechanic. The collective fleet panicked. Their ships attempted to flee, but hyperspace failed. Not locked. Healed. The corrupted systems they relied on collapsed without violence, leaving them powerless. Codex felt the throne weakening behind him. Without a king we yendi, it warned. Codex turned. Then end. He placed both hands on the throne, and did what no heir had ever done. He dismantled it. Light shattered into harmless fragments. Ancient authority dissolved. Control protocols erased themselves willingly. The tomb began to collapse, but not in destruction. In release. Across the galaxy, dormant worlds stabilized. Broken stars cooled. Long-dead systems breathed again. The age of mechanic kings ended forever. The age of repair began. The executioner lowered itself to the planet's surface, kneeling, not to a king, but to a human. What is your command? It asked. Codex shook his head. No commands. Just help. The AI paused. Then, for the first time in its existence, it agreed. Weeks later, Codex stood on a rebuilt ridge overlooking the city. Humans arrived cautiously, staring at the towers that now provided clean energy, water, and shelter. They didn't kneel. They didn't fear him. They waved. Codex wor no crown. No armed. Just a tool pack and a quiet smile. History would never call him an emperor. But broken worlds would remember one name. Codex. The human who sneezed on a tomb. And fixed the future.